Now, a woman from Brighton who believes she's the first person in the UK to be given a prescription for medical cannabis says the NHS needs to act urgently to make the drug available to more patients. Carly Barton, who's 32, suffers from constant pain due to fibromyalgia and says cannabis is the only treatment which enables her to live a normal life.
But despite a change in the law, she says she's been unable to obtain the drug through the NHS and is having to pay £2,500 for a 3-month supply sent over from the Netherlands. Amanda Acas reports.
Carly Barton is just 32, but every day is a battle with constant pain. She used to work as a university lecturer in Brighton, but after suffering a stroke 8 years ago, she developed a neurological condition called fibromyalgia. She says cannabis is the only treatment which helps.
When I was taking fentanyl in a patch, drinking morphine and swallowing caps of diazepam, I'd say I would still be in a sort of 8 out of 10 pain, to the point where I would be screaming or being sick with the pain, just vomiting because the pain was that extreme. Cannabis has got the ability to bring down my pain from a 10 to like a 2, sometimes even a 1 or a 0 in the space of 5 to 10 minutes.
It became legally possible for British doctors to prescribe medical cannabis for the first time back in November after a public outcry over the case of Billy Caldwell, a 12-year-old boy with epilepsy whose cannabis oil was confiscated. But Carly says she had to get her prescription from a private doctor after being unable to obtain one on the NHS, meaning she's having to pay £2,500 to order the treatment from the Netherlands. It still hasn't arrived.
It's not as widely available as was reported or promised, and for those people we're still very much stuck in that same situation.
Under the NHS rules, medical cannabis can only be prescribed to treat a limited number of conditions: childhood epilepsy, multiple sclerosis and vomiting as a result of chemotherapy. More detailed guidelines will be published in October, but campaigners say that's not good enough.
Currently, what we have is a farce where the NHS doesn't really know what to do, where the government have basically passed the buck to the NHS, and the NHS doesn't really know what to do. We need clear guidelines which say cannabis is medicine and people that consume it should not be criminalised for that.
More than a month after getting her prescription, Carly hopes to receive her 3-month course of treatment by the end of the week, but says she can't afford to pay for another one. Amanda Acas, BBC South East Today, Brighton.
Well, we did approach the NHS for comment on that story, but they are yet to send us a response.
2 Belgian nationals arrested in Dover are being questioned on suspicion of terrorism offences. The man and a woman, both in their 30s, were stopped at the port.